Hello, and welcome to the darkest timeline.
Film podcast.
Hi, and welcome to the Darkest Timeline. I'm David.
I'm Ian.
I'm Dylan.
I'm Josh.
And it's your guy, John.
I'm gonna kill you, John. You made us watch this movie.
That's
what movie
right.
did we watch?
Today we watched the Cinemax's gritty reboot of DuckTales.
It wasn't gritty, you
What was the name of this movie, Dave?
We watched Howard the Duck.
The cinematic abortion that is Scrooge McDuck.
More of a scrambled egg situation.
God, I don't even know.
It's bad.
It was awful.
No, it was not
You know
okay.
what? It wasn't.
Shut up, John. I will put my
know what?
fist in your mouth
got
and
it.
have you suck on it until you turn blue.
Okay. We've watched, 26 or so movies?
I've watched 2. I'm a guest. I'm a special guest. Dave, am I a special guest?
He is very special.
You are so special.
Special is in quotes.
Well, you're a guest.
Wow.
Thank you, Dylan.
Hi, everybody. My name's Josh.
It's his second time on, so I guess it's special. Well, it's less special now than the first time.
Wow.
We've-
Wow. I feel like I've had my cherry popped, which is considering
Cherry Bomb!
Cherry Bomb is the name of the band in this movie, led by none other than Back to the Future's Leia Thompson. Or, I'm sorry, Caroline in the City's Leia Thompson.
Yeah.
No, does no one else remember Caroline in the City? She was a greeting card, she wrote greeting cards and Richard was her artist. And
Well,
no?
that sounds
No one?
adorable. I have
You've
not
lost
seen that
me.
movie.
You've lost me a
It's
bit.
not a movie, it was a 1990s sitcom. And
Was it?
John.
I have no idea.
My childhood is dead.
I was born in 1990, so there are a few things in 1990 that were lost on me in the
John,
early years.
are you ready for our tag team adventure?
Why no? You're not. No, you ain't doing that. Dave, you're drunk.
Taking
Just
it
let
to-
Josh do the whole plot.
In a world populated by mallards, or ducks, as the common English refers to them, that have evolved to a point where they are the sentient form of life, we find Howard the Duck, a man duck, the kind of man duck who reads Play Duck, has movie posters on his wall including Breeders of the Lost Ark, My Little Chickadee starring C.W. Fowles. And he is sitting there in his armchair, ready to smoke his cigar, when he is contracted through space, and in the beginning there is Howard the Duck,
A quote from the movie.
a duck who is suctioned through a space vagina into our world. From
Also a quote from the movie.
his own egg-shaped world onto Earth, where he meets the lead singer of Cherry Bomb, Michael J. Fox's mother. who not only being into sleeping with her son, soon finds sexual attraction to an anthropomorphic duck. Okay. So basically, Howard the Duck shows up on Earth. He's confused. Leia Thompson is the lead singer of a band called Cherry Bomb, a good band with songs by Thomas Dolby, which you might know from DTS, that symbol you see at the beginning of a lot of films. Who he also made. She blinded me with science. She blinded me with science. That song, that same guy.
Beautiful cover.
Thank you. So
Nailed it.
So Leia Thompson brings Howard back to her pad, tries to help him. He tells her basically to dump button, f off, because I'm a duck and I'm angry. We don't know, other than that, we don't know why. But she tries to bring him to her scientist friend, played by Tim Robbins, who was in this movie and in the most successful movie of 1986, Top Gun. Look for him. And then, but it doesn't go according to plan because he's not a scientist, he's a janitor. We're all a bit confused. Eventually, they connect up again. He becomes her band manager, but in the process, they connect with other scientists who end up bringing the Dark Overlords to Earth.
The devil.
Yeah, there's spider devil creatures.
Sure.
And the rest of the movie is preoccupied with them trying to get Howard back to Earth while trying to drive out the dark overlords. That
Whoa. Get Howard back to Duck World.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Howard back to Duck World while keeping the dark overlords out from an dimension. They're basically demons. A lot of things happen in various places, mostly a diner. Most of the last half of the movie takes place in a diner and a nuclear facility, and a truck. Because it could be Maximum Overdrive, but we're not sure. And then we end with the 1986 Razzie Award-winning song "Howard the Duck." Because Howard is a hero, he ends up blowing up the vagina that brought him to Earth in order to keep the Dark Overlords out, thus cementing his place on this planet. He defeats the bad guys, and now he's on our planet managing the band Cherry Bomb, which, had this not been a band from any other movie, they would have been a great band. I mean, let's be honest. We all want to see a battle of the bands with Cherry Bomb, Sex Bomb, and Fever Dog or River Dog. What is it? No, Stillwater from Almost Famous. That would be a great movie, just about those bands. And then they're trying to play and be about their art and each other. It would be amazing. That's the movie we all wanted to see. Instead, we got Howard the Duck, the first Marvel movie.
Actually, it was the first cinema Marvel thing in like 41 years since the Captain America serial.
Yes, that is true.
I think this movie was like the blueprint of what MIB was, the genius of MIB. Because you remember, okay, this is a different movie. Real quick, you remember when the guy, the main villain,
by MIB, he means Men in Black, for those of you born after 1997.
Oh, gosh darn it. But you remember when the main villain was hosted by the Roach.
You're talking
Sugar!
Vincent D'Onofrio. Vincent D'Onofrio, a classic cinematic actor who was in such things as Full Metal Jacket. That guy.
In this film, when this guy was hosted, it reminded me so much
By
of
this guy,
dude.
we mean Jeffrey Jones, the child molester that's in this movie.
I mean, you know.
Well, in this movie, he does not play a child molester. He plays that in real life.
The actor is
He's
an
a child
actual child
molester
molester.
playing a real person.
But in this movie,
He's excellent. He's
Yeah,
a great actor.
Which is, I don't know. That's
But hey,
kind of
let's talk
Ryan.
about best parts of this movie.
Okay.
sweet.
I want to hear John's take because I'm at this point ready to murder him for making me watch this movie again.
It was John's fault.
Well, you could have closed your eyes.
Well, you have to close his ears too, because that was also bad.
No. You cinematically raped me, John, and I want to hear from my victim, or from my what is not
what?
not my victim.
Victim.
Hey,
You are the victim. What have you done?
no, I am his victim. He punched me 3 times.
You deserved it.
Okay. So,
John, what was your favorite part of the movie?
my favorite part. All right. My favorite part of the movie, yes, who are listening, is, dude, this was so awesome. When the lames, no, you liked it too. The wannabe scientist came to.
Wait, Tim Robbins?
Yes.
Yes, that's Tim Robbins.
Janitor
Okay.
boy. He came, this is my nickname for him. Janitor boy came.
The guy from Shawshank Redemption, who's a consummate actor.
There you go. That guy. He
Love
came.
that movie.
He came to the bands, the girl band's dressing room, right? Okay.
Wait. Back
the
up.
show.
Set the scene. So Leah Thompson, our lead, is in a band called, what's the name of the band? Say it with your melodious voice. Let's hear it.
Cherry Bomb.
Oh. So they're performing, they get done, they're backstage, Howard is back there, and then Tim Robbins busts in and does this.
I'm sorry I missed your show, but I just came to watch you undress.
What does he say when he leaves?
Oh, I wrote this down too, because this was my second best part.
It's the same thing.
So he had a phone call. Well, he was so excited. He was like, I'm going to pluck this duck's tail or what. I don't know. It was a lot of stuff that was going on. But anyway, somehow one of the girls in his band is his girlfriend. I don't know how it's not 2016. It's like 1986 or something like that. But somehow this
Back
this
when
lame
you were a
dude.
cell in your father's scrotum.
I was swimming around like a pro,
I was
like a gold Olympic swimmer.
Dave and I were alive at this point.
But yeah. So he was trying to leave. Like, hey, I need to talk to this science guy, which was probably the pedophile dude. So
Yeah, it was Jeffrey Jones.
and so. And his girlfriend all of a sudden grabbed him like, hey, baby, wait, what are you doing? He was like, no sex now, I'm busy. I was like, oh, snap. Dude, do you know how you look? And do you know how she looks? But I was like, hey, that's a pimp line. You are a pimp. That's cool, man, because, anybody else.
The Darkest Timeline podcast would like to say that pimping is not cool. Using women for sex is not something that we endorse and or condone in any manner of fashion. Thank
Well,
you
the
very
Darkest
much.
Timeline would like to say that Josh is
A guest.
is a guest,
Yeah.
and we totally
They totally endorse pimping.
I would also like to say that pimping ain't easy.
Oh, he stole it. I was going to say that.
Damn.
I was going to say it. Me and David are like on the same wavelength on this podcast. Pimping ain't easy, guys.
It's not good either. It's definitely
It's not good, but it's not easy.
on a legal level. We agree with Josh.
Yeah, thank you. I will go contact her.
Honestly, for me, those are my best. Those are my best because everything I like jumped up. If you guys were there, I jumped up out of my seat. I was like, oh snap! It was like Kevin Hart, when he's around all his friends. Like, oh, do you hear what he said? You see any of those videos?
You're like a much, much, much taller Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
Much taller.
I look slightly different from Kevin Hart, just slightly.
A more handsome version, let's be honest.
You're a much more handsome Kevin Hart.
If
And you're a lot taller.
if your football team made it to the Super Bowl and they just scored the winning point, that's what John was like at
Man.
the end of that
Oh,
bird.
he was
that's
like,
what-
oh,
yeah.
man.
We had to pause the movie and
man.
make
Twice.
Hey,
Just giving high fives and hugs to everyone.
The mascot from the San Diego Chargers showed up and hugged him and then left.
It was
amazing.
It was brilliant. You have to understand though. It was as if Tim Robbins read this script and said, you know what? F the lines. I don't care. I'm gonna say what I want to say. And then that's how gold it was because it was like, wait, you said this in this movie?
You know
Like,
what?
Do you know how your character's lame?
That's an amazing thing because Tim Robbins had done one movie before this, and then later that year would go on to have a bit part in Top Gun, where he played Merlin, the guy behind the guy in the other plane that wasn't Tom Cruise, Mavericks and Gooses.
But it's as though Tim Robbins knew they had shot too much footage of Howard the Duck with him in it for them to not take this line.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're just gonna have to accept it.
Yeah.
To be fair enough, Tim Robbins, this movie was nominated for 7 Razzies, including Tim Robbins for Worst Supporting Actor.
They had those back then?
They did. They
Oh,
did.
they've been around for a while.
This movie actually won Worst Picture, Worst Screenplay. Let's see, I have it written down here. They won Worst Screenplay, but Tim Robbins did not win. He was nominated. William Hayek, the director, won Worst Director, and it won Worst Original Song for Howard the Duck, which is written by Thomas Dolby and George Clinton. That's right, guess. George Clinton of the Parliamentary Funkadelic. That's right. He has a Razzie.
Okay, so I think I'm unsure. It might be like equal terms, but this movie was made in 1986, and I think the bad guy makeup, Jeffrey Jones makeup, his makeup was as good, if not better, than the bad guy makeup from Green Lantern.
Yeah,
Oh, it was way better than that.
way better.
Yeah.
Was it? I can't quite.
It's
remember.
way better.
I mean, just because of the material, along with, well, I don't know.
I mean,
It
his
was just
voice
better.
was totally.
Well,
But
But it-
No, he
went
wants
with
to
the
pet the
character,
smooth skin of 14-year-old boys, but at the same time, he's a consummate actor.
well, I guess this voice was really saying that thing about 14-year-old boys. But other than that, I mean, the makeup was so good.
yeah, it was good.
Well, it was from back in a time when people gave a damn about practical effects.
That's
There
true.
you go.
Before they're coming back into fashion now.
I just want to ditto that, Ian. I totally agree with you. And well as just his overall performance was fantastic.
Yeah,
He
it was good.
He owned that role. He's like, I'm gonna be the bad guy now.
And he was so committed.
Yeah, that's what he sounded like. It was kind
Which is impressive because when he becomes the Dark Overlord, his line is, Jennings is gone. Now it is someone else. Someone else? That's what the writers gave him.
Yeah.
And he sold it. He sold someone else. The bad guy.
How dare he, as the person who knows who he himself is, he play the pronoun game. I hate that.
Yeah.
But he pulled it off, damn it.
Honestly, like initially, I was just like, this is kind of lame. Especially with the way his voice was. It's kind of like, but as it went on, the writing took itself a little more seriously. And because of his commitment, well, with him.
He took it more seriously than I think you were right.
Yeah, I mean, but they actually gave him like, okay, I'm a demon, and it's like, okay, I get it now. Because I thought he was just like some other dude. Like, are you gonna kind of turn into another Howard the Duck? Are you gonna turn into a dolphin? Or are you gonna turn into a
wait? He was gonna turn into a dolphin?
I don't know, animals.
What a twist!
Wow, are we in So Long and Thanks for All the Fish from Douglas Adams? This is a reference. No one?
No, I got that. I love Douglas
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Ian, I'd like to add a yes and to your...
You may.
Improv.
Improv for us, yeah.
When we pull back, all the performances in this movie are great. Mm-hmm. Everyone is actually acting compared to...
I disagree.
Compared to Priest or...
Not everyone.
Tim Robbins is chewing scenery
like 67% of everyone.
We'll give you a little more than 2/3, Dave. We'll give you that.
I say Tim Robbins has the best lines in the movie, as John said.
Yeah.
And Led Thompson.
He was kind of.
I mean, at the end, yes, but he still had the best line in the movie.
Right.
He does winky things. He does things where he's ticking just for the sake of ticking and not because they grow out of character.
Yeah.
No, he deserved his nomination for worst Razzie. But Leia Thompson and Jeffrey Jones.
He was the worst Razzie?
Well, he got nominated for worst supporting actor. They are acting their hearts out, and I would say that a lot of the people around them, the guy who had that bit part where it's like, we should not have tampered with the universe. He was doing his best. He was amazing.
Oh my god, I have that entire line written down somewhere.
Most of these people are trying everything we can.
So Josh, what was your favorite part?
Wait. I have that line. It exploded again. It was terrible. We do not have the right to tamper with the universe. Okay. I wrote that entire line down because that struck me as the worst line portrayed by someone who was like, this is my only line. I'm going to do the hell out of it.
There you go.
And it's like that particular character spent some serious time thinking about the ramifications of his actions.
Now,
yeah.
For those of you out there who don't know this, the screenplay of this is written by Gloria Katz and William Hook, who directed the film. They wrote American Graffiti, one of AFI's 100 greatest screenplays of all time. Same people. Just FYI. What? Just FYI.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, my favorite part of this film has got to be Leia Thompson. Leia Thompson is doing her damnedest. And the thing is that we all were sitting there listening to the voice of Howard the Duck. She did not have that. That voice was being done by the animator or the puppeteer off stage. She didn't have the actual voice to act off of. So she had a non-committal voice that she just had to assume this is what he was saying. She looks fantastic. Can we all agree that her thighs and abs are amazing in this film?
Holy shit.
Like,
man.
You can see why Marty McFly would have been like, I'm having second doubts about not having sex with my mom. She's amazing looking in this
1986 was a good year.
A good year.
Oh, she was doing well.
No, but she does a great job. She's a really good actress. She was my favorite part of this film.
I will say that my top two have already been mentioned. The acting and the makeup done to the bad guy.
Yeah,
so I will throw in a third thing. The costuming isn't as bad. I thought the hardest part, going into this movie, I thought it would be impossible for me to enjoy this movie because of the costuming. And
Wait, why is that?
well, it's particularly the duck. He just looks weird.
Oh, okay.
Well, he even doesn't look like a real duck. He looks like a dude in a costume.
Right.
Especially the gloves.
So-
They're terrible.
That being said, I felt like Howard was a very stylish duck.
He was.
He was always in a new outfit. Sometimes he looked like a little hipster cabbie. Sometimes he looked like a gym coach.
Wait a minute. When you say he's a stylish duck, you mean stylish for 2016 or stylish for 1986?
1986, he just has a lot of outfits that he goes through.
Okay.
For me, 2016. It kind of touches on.
Well, maybe
Today.
So you're saying that the costuming of Howard the Duck was prescient?
well, in 2016, he's hella hipster.
Yeah. He is very hipster.
But just in general, I thought he looked good. And the worst costume or suit we've seen so far, definitely Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 with the eye slits right underneath the mask.
Oh
Sure.
god, that was f***ing
It's
awful.
terrible.
I looked at Howard and I thought, this is kind of a weird looking duck. This is like a nightmarish type duck, but it wasn't as bad as Teenage Mutant Ninja
Yeah,
Turtles.
I mean,
So-
to be
so wait-
fair,
oh.
I never looked at the Howard's face and went, so that's how the actor sees. No, I never thought that.
Yeah. I never paid attention.
It was hidden well.
Yeah, very well.
I from the get go, even when I was a kid and saw this. Well, I shouldn't say that, but as an adult, I still
That's
say
not a real duck.
I wasn't doing that. I was like, okay, I'll buy it. Did you buy it or not? Do you not buy it? Buy the duck?
Well, obviously I didn't.
Howard,
I think it helped
On
that
an intellectual level, we all know that it is a little person in a anthropomorphic duck suit. What do you
I
think?
want to take a pause on that. If you know the answer to this question, I don't want you to answer. But do you think, was it a little person or was it a kid?
I thought it was a little person.
I thought it was a little person.
I thought it was a
I
kid.
think the arm movements kind of gave it away as a little person.
I thought it was a kid.
So we're split though, 50-50 right now. Josh, I think you have the answer. Is it a little person?
It is both a little person and a child. It is a little person child.
Oh, wait, he
So-
was very short for his age.
So Jordan, who played a duck in the majority of the film, including the love scene with Leah Thompson.
How dare you know the facts of this movie?
That is a lucky kid.
No, he was not, because Leah Thompson basically went to the director and said, I cannot do this sexual innuendo scene with a just slightly out of puberty child.
Yes, you can.
Well, no, whoa,
I'm a
whoa,
kid,
whoa,
and you're
please,
Leah
please.
Thompson.
Tell me, Michael Jackson, how would this go down?
Yeah,
How would you feel about this? Come on, man.
I'm on the
You
kids.
can't-
I'm on the kid's side.
I'm on Leia's side because she's like.
I mean, I feel.
Well, he's
I feel
like
Leah's side.
he's like way too young for her.
And remember,
he's just in a duck
His
costume.
parents are on set watching this.
Yeah, that's f***ed up.
Yeah,
man.
okay.
Yeah, okay,
I would feel
okay,
weird.
no, yeah, right.
I don't think they did anything that I can think of
Well, she
that
was
would have
rubbing
been
on the
across
chest.
the line.
No, like
Well-
like from a costume standpoint, no. But she's still got to act like she's interested in him sexually, and that is weird to because
Yeah,
innocence is a thing that is worth preserving. Naivety is not. So that's my own personal platitude. But that is something that's happening in this scene, and so no. But it was a kid who played it. At the same token, Ed Gale, who also played, he did a lot of the stunts for Howard. He is also a little person, but he was a little too tall. They had a very specific range and agility test that the producers wanted. They went through lots and lots of little people, and there's only so many little people acting at this time.
You would say it's a short list.
It is. Oh my God! Really?
You monster! How dare you?
Wait, I'm gonna give Dave a quick slap here.
Ow!
You deserved that. You deserved it.
That was real. That hurt.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Whose favorite part of the movie was this?
This wasn't a favorite part of the movie. This was just a
It's
stand.
supposed to be.
Okay, we're talking about favorite part.
Yeah,
I think the style.
Josh, you were on your favorite part. What was
Yeah,
your
no,
favorite part of the damn movie?
No, I talked about it a long time ago. It was Leah Thompson. But I'm just saying that
Yeah, so-
this was the so they ended up bringing in Ed Gale to act the love scene, but overall it's so you have both a adult little person and essentially a child little person who were acting because Jordan had more agility and was short enough to pull off the duck costume, whereas Ed was a little taller, so they used him for a lot more of the stunt things a lot of times. But even Jordan wasn't in the duck costume, like at the very end when Howard had to fire the laser, which by the way was so hot it set the costume on fire, which started melting down the back of 13-year-old Jordan's costume, and he was being hit by his handler to put out the flames. Jordan, in an interview, said, I thought I had done such a bad job that they were hitting me to discipline me for my poor acting.
Oh my God.
Like, that's how messed up this ended up getting to.
And he never acted again.
I don't know that that's true. I think I don't know if he did.
Dylan,
Or
what
not.
was your favorite part?
My favorite part of this movie was that it
Better
was,
than that. I don't know.
well, it was because of the time it was in, and that it was rated PG, and that all the things that happen in this movie are so alien from our current idea of a PG movie,
Right.
or even a PG-13 movie.
Well, no, I think it still hit PG-13.
It'd be in the upper range of PG-13.
There were duck breasts.
Yeah, I have a list.
No, there were duck
tits.
Duck
That's
tits.
not this.
Yeah.
I was just trying to keep it classy.
Where are
Got
you?
some stereo tits in there.
Yeah.
With nipples.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Sweet,
it's what-
sweet duck memory producing duck tits.
Duck
So
nips.
when I was writing my notes, I would write a little PG next to the things that were ironic, I think. And
That's good.
Okay, I'm ready for
so
this.
PG movie now would be a straight up kids movie.
Right.
Oh yeah, nothing weird.
Well, I mean, maybe
Which it
some.
wasn't back then.
Yeah.
I think PG movies right now get away with certain things. They're like the adult audience will get this, but it's just like very veiled. It's
or
nothing.
There's
like,
nothing subtle in this movie.
In 1986, Gremlins was rated PG.
What? Really?
Goonies
yeah.
was PG.
Really?
Jaws in 1976 was PG. Now there was no PG-13 rating until after Temple of Doom.
I guess clearly they had to rethink the rating
Okay,
system.
so give me
Yeah.
a PG list.
So duck breasts, obviously. The biker gang, the female biker gang, Satan sluts.
Satan sluts.
yeah, I think that's one.
Yeah.
Wait, they were a lesbian biker gang. Let's be honest.
We don't know.
We know.
They didn't have nearly enough screen time for us to
Yeah.
thoroughly get through that fact.
The attempted rape of Leia Thompson
Yeah, that was crazy.
by a couple of dudes before Howard saved
Who
her.
were like,
Oh,
I'm
shit,
your
you're
biggest
right.
fan. I love you.
I forgot about that entirely.
Howard going through some relatively hardcore PTSD during like when a truck drove by about him going through the portal.
Wait, during the love scene, like his head feathers get erect at one point. They like raise up, like, oh, I'm getting turned on. I don't know how to deal with this.
He worked at a massage parlor called Hot Tub Fever that had like a bunch of half-naked people grinding in it.
No. They weren't grinding. They were. F***ing. Let's
Yeah,
be
they
honest.
probably were.
Well,
They
I
were.
mean-
They were ready to.
Hey,
do it.
man, we don't know.
There was a lot of there was several like women in like completely unbuttoned shirts with
Yeah.
like nearly nipple cleavage.
Is this a thing? Was this a thing in the 80s? I grew up in the 80s. I do not know that there were clubs with hot tubs where people were just like, hey, let's go here. Let's make out, possibly have sex.
In the late 80s, there weren't that many places where you can get a hot tub and have sex with a stranger. Early 80s.
Who said strangers?
Early 80s. That was
They were strangers.
That was before the AIDS, man. That was
Well,
all.
I mean-
Oh, that's true.
I guess I don't know anything about that time period since I was born 5 months after the 80s ended.
Here's the deal. This movie was marketed toward children.
Yeah.
So like if I was 6, if my folks had taken me to this movie, I would have been, not only would they have been uncomfortable, I would have been confused and possibly
Mommy,
different.
what's going on
Okay.
in this scene?
Dylan, take us through the rest of his list.
When
I have to
they're in
go
the
cry in a corner.
during the second time the cherry bombs are singing in the club, and Howard grow a pair, Josh, Jesus. The second time the cherry bombs are singing in the club, and Howard picks a fight with their manager when he like is talking to his bros about extorting sex from Leia Thompson's character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, just to like for them to get their money or whatever,
Right.
because he's not going to pay them.
When Sweet Beverly puts out, I'll give her my
You
give her the
know,
money.
theoretical future rape is PG.
Theoretical future rape. That's
That was
great.
very common in the 80s.
This explains so much of who, like,
Well, the whole thing where with Tim Robbins later in the movie when he walks into the club, it's like no sex tonight. That whole thing
Yeah.
was
John's best part did not
yeah.
make sense in a PG movie.
No, it really did.
Okay, by the way, the credited screenwriter on this is a woman. Gloria Katz is the wife of the director.
I got something to say about that a little
She's
bit
awesome.
later.
What else? I want to hear the rest of this list.
Well, there was Leia Thompson just kind of walking around in her underwear, which I feel like wouldn't be in a PG movie right now.
That was awesome.
Well, in a PG movie, not even close right now.
They would have threw some yoga
Not
pants on
right
her.
now.
Not right now. In the
would've been
80s, yeah.
PG-13.
Well, yeah,
Well-
in the 80s, clearly. It happened.
That was, and then right after that, there's the near bestiality and bestiality humor.
Yeah. Bestiality?
Yeah.
Oh, it's bad. It's pronounced bad.
It's bestiality.
Really?
Well, it doesn't come from the word beast. It comes from the word bestial. So it's bestiality.
You know, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, you
folks.
learn something
Like
new every day.
bestiary. You're welcome.
But yeah, so like all of that, because Leah Thompson was totally gonna have sex with Howard until he was like way not into it.
And then she was like, "Oh, I'm just kidding, Howard." She was not
She was
kidding.
not.
She was
Not-
all agree.
no.
Not a microsecond.
She wanted that
was she
feathery
kidding.
D.
She wanted to know what it feels like.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, it was like,
She's like, what's this going to be like? I
Right.
need this
The answer
experience.
is corkscrew.
you can see
Ducks' are corkscrewed. That's how that works.
you can see the curiosity in her eyes.
That's a true
in,
thing.
In her eyes. You can see the curiosity there.
I did not need that information in my life.
Maybe. You never know.
Does anyone have any miscellany good things to talk about?
Well, I guess we in that last scene when they were singing that terrible song about Howard the Duck.
It wasn't terrible.
Well, I mean, it was a pretty bad song. It was
Razzie Award winning.
Razzie Award winning
See?
song.
It was pretty good then.
No,
That is that's not what a Razzie means. Damn it!
It won an award.
I think one is in quotes in that context.
Yeah. There wasn't much good in this movie, and I think we covered
I
it
got
all.
one.
I got one.
I got one.
Okay, Dylan, then Josh.
Oh, okay. John Jeffries? Is that his
Jeffrey
name?
Jones.
Jeffrey Jones. I got that mixed up. Jeffrey Jones, the monster that comes out of him at the end looks really good.
Yeah, for a 1986
Well,
movie.
that said, it was not the best green screen. The lighting was wrong on the monster for the
but
scene.
still, it
But
looked-
other than that,
It looked better than a
Although
lot of movies.
It's crazy because I agree with you, but this was nominated for worst special effects, and I don't know if that's because the screenplay was so bad. Because
Yeah, it's probably
it
the
looks
screenplay.
cool. Like if you watch, Willow came out 3 years later, and the big troll beast in Willow. If you haven't
Right.
seen Willow, see it because it's awesome, and Ron Howard did a spectacular job.
yeah, how dare you not see it, says the man who hasn't seen the whole thing.
I will
yet.
slap you. But the green screen in that is obvious, just as obvious as this film. But it's a claim. It's that stop motion practical effect thing, and they did it in this. And I still like the. Yeah, I agree.
I
with
mean,
you.
the lighting was slightly off. If they just gotten the lighting a little better, I would have been so much
Well-
more okay with it.
I really like that. There was plenty of special effects in this
reasons for that,
movie.
though.
Yeah, there was.
There are plenty of special effects in this movie that are worthy of that Razzie. Because there's a lot of in this movie that doesn't look good at all. But that was the one thing they spent their budget on.
That was good. Yeah.
I think the demon, not only did it look good, it was creative.
Yeah,
It
it
didn't.
was.
It didn't look. Well, I mean, I guess it looked like very much like a cousin of the Rancor in Star Wars. But other than that, it was
did.
very original.
No, the way it moved and everything, I was like, oh, wow, they spent some time on this.
Yeah, looking at the Rancor in Star Wars.
I mean, it was fluid. The way it trampled around, I was like, dude, they put some time in this thing. And I have to, I mean, in that, I have to like kind of bow down and appreciate that.
If they were able to digitalize this now and put a better skin on it and
probably
just keep the core concept of
Or
it,
even just fix the lighting on it.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think it would be the best part of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with practical effects, but you just got to get the right lighting, and
Yeah,
then you're okay.
Okay. So is that all we have?
No,
Yeah,
my silver medal goes to the music. Thomas Dolby, who did Blinded Me with Science, wrote the music, and these are the pop songs that Cherry Bomb sings are really good.
They are.
I-
that band
I feel
should
like-
be opening for people,
Right.
Not like singing in some like.
No, and I said this. Did I say this
Back
earlier in the
alley
podcast? That
Fight
Cherry
Club.
Bomb and Stillwater and Sex Bomb should have a Battle of the Bands film where we get that soundtrack because that would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Those are good stuff.
All right, we ready for the bad stuff?
Yeah, I guess we are.
I guess
The bad stuff. Can I jump in with my worst part? Because I'm worried it's going to get cherry picked.
Go ahead.
Feel free.
All the duck puns.
Especially at the beginning of the movie.
I'm surprised there were so many that they're just possible in reality.
You're fouling up this podcast here, Dave. What are you talking about?
Go to hell, Josh.
What the duck are you talking about?
It was one after the other of these awful puns, and not only that, they put in duck in places where we wouldn't put in man.
What do you mean?
Like his identification says Howard T. Duck, as though his name is Howard the Duck. His middle name is Duck.
Right.
That's like saying you are
Todd.
Dave the Human.
Well, I think his name actually is Howard the Duck. So that might mean his parents are just really not creative.
Yeah, maybe. But
So we could blame that on his parents.
we could blame that on Steven Gerber, who
Right.
actually created
Well,
it.
first,
That's true.
Didn't show up in the movie, but it's similar to all the stuff that was going on. Instead of just calling it like humanity, they'd call it duckmanity. Yeah.
Was it duck? I feel like the word duckmanity.
No,
was not
that wasn't
said.
in there. But I was just saying things like that. They threw in duck or like
Foul.
right. In every place in the duck world had some sort of duck pun, but we don't do human puns for all the cities.
Well, maybe you don't.
Well, yeah, but that's because the screenwriter was I don't know.
Are you saying that the screenwriter of American Graffiti did not know what she was... Oh, you're right.
I'm gonna quote some shit. Okay, so Howard the Duck in how Gerber made it was an existentialist medium. And so the book is existentialist. Its main joke is that, according to Gerber, it is that there is no joke. That in quotes, that life's most serious moments and most incredibly dumb moments are often distinguishable only by a momentary point of view. And so Gloria Katz, the screenwriter who adapted the comic into film, is quoted as declaring, "It's a film about a duck from outer space. It's not supposed to be an existential experience," which is absolutely not true.
Can I have a quote from the film where Leah Thompson's character... What's her name? I don't even remember.
I don't remember.
Leah
her name.
Thompson.
Leah Thompson.
Her name starts with a B. in the
Gorgeous
film.
Cherry McNutt Tits. That's what we're going to call it.
No, we're not. No,
Wait.
we're not.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you say that again?
Gorgeous Cherry McNutt Tits.
Gorgeous Cherry
McNutt
McNutt Tit?
Beverly. Her name's Beverly.
Beverly, that was it.
So Beverly says at one point when Howard has just arrived, she says, "Believe that's why you're here." And that quote goes against everything that the comic was about. The comic is about that. No, it's a cosmic joke that Howard the Duck showed up on Earth. Okay? So for her, she was trying to shoehorn in a reason why a duck was here. The original concept that Katz and Hayek, who are married, had was that this would be an animated film. They weren't doing an origin story. It was, we meet them in Hawaii. He's already a private detective doing his thing. That was the concept. And it's just accepted that there's this dude who's named Howard, who is a duck, who is a private detective. And that's existential.
Yeah.
This origin story and her trying to give purpose to his being here, that goes against the fundamental nature of the source material.
The screenwriter didn't get that the purpose of Howard the Duck is to just accept the chaos. Mm-hmm. That's it. Just do that. And she didn't. She needed reasons. How dare cinema need reasons? Are we good now? Can we move on to the next person?
John, what was your favorite part?
My favorite. I already said
I'm sorry, worst favorite.
Least
Your
favorite.
worst, the worst part. You thought you were just like, this is bullshit.
Your least
Tell us
favorite part.
that.
Okay, the thing that kind of threw me off of this movie, which the movie could have been actually pretty decent, was when it just didn't. It jumped out of reality in a sense. I mean, you already had me suspend the belief that there's this duck humanoid on planet Earth. Okay, I suspended that belief to allow that to happen. But then you asked me to, like, there was a scene where he was riding the bus with these people, and all of a sudden he got up to get off. After, I'm assuming he probably rode on the bus about 20 minutes, and everybody, hey, oh my God, it's a duck. Hey, man, that's a duck, man. They had this black dude. He was just really black for some reason, you know. Hey, yeah, that's a duck. You know, it was like,
Well, 20 minutes? Man, why are you even riding on the bus if you're only staying on there for 20 minutes?
I'm giving them the benefit of a doubt. But it's like, come on, man, you had this dude, and then so many people saw him as a duck prior to the police actually getting involved.
That's
and I was sitting there thinking,
this film is that people react to Howard as either a monster or like, hey, what's going on?
And
like, there's no consistency. Is he an alien and a monster, or is he like someone that everyone wants to chill with? Like,
but see, the thing is, no one ever calls the police until the police just happen to stumble across. Oh, hey, we have this guy in a suit. Oh, shit, wait, he's not in a suit. He's an actual extraterrestrial human being. He's dangerous. We should put him in handcuffs. And then somehow he escapes. I don't know. It just started getting kind of weird from there. Not that it wasn't already weird, but that's the thing that kind of threw me off from this movie. It really threw me off. And it was like, you know, if they had people really take it seriously, or if they took themselves serious, it's like, hey, let's hide this guy. Because they kind of tried to hide him, but then they just said, screw it. He's just going to walk around and be a duck. He's going to get a job. and this black woman who was a job, you know, I forgot what her official title is. But
she was an agency of the unemployment office.
Right. Worked at the unemployment office to get people employed. She was saying that, I've seen your kind in here before. You come in.
He's fact checking me on that, by the way.
Yeah, you come in here, you're looking all colorful. And I was like, he's a f***ing duck.
He's white as hell.
Yeah, he's a duck. I mean, what you talking about his clothes? He did have on some colorful clothes, but he's a duck. You know, and it's just like, oh, you're looking all colorful. I'm going to get you a job.
She was committed as hell to that part.
Committed.
She was amazing.
You know. She was one of the few really, like, committed actors in the film.
She was.
Yeah,
I would also say that she is the most motivated public servant I think I've ever seen. She's got,
and she was fictional, so that'll tell you something.
She's got 100% success rate. She was even able to get a mutant space duck.
Yeah.
A job.
And
at a place where people just have sex in the open.
You know, to her credit, it was dark in there.
That was, I mean, not to her credit. That's her.
Wasn't that dark?
That's her thinking. That's her hustling.
She's a duck.
That's
he
her.
likes water.
She's a hustler, man.
Yeah, that's her taking what she has and turn it into something that she can do.
But it's a problem because they established several times that Howard cannot swim, which makes no sense whatsoever.
Well,
I can't. Well, I mean, I guess he's just from a world where people are ducks, and I guess some people can't swim. So Howard's one of the ducks that can't swim. That's just
okay. But the idea that people can't swim is left over from when every dude was in the Navy and no one took swimming lessons back in the late 1800s. Nowadays, even by 1986. Most people could at least tread water. People were not drowning.
What if I told you that I couldn't swim? I mean, that's a lie because I can swim. But still, what if I said that?
We call you a liar.
Well, because
it's an exceptionally rare idea that someone can't swim in the late 20th century.
I have a friend
in a first world country.
I have a friend who can't ride a bike. She just never took the time to learn.
But that's different. That's riding a bike. It's not going in the water, which usually makes you float.
Yeah.
You know what? I've learned to swim 3 times, and I've forgotten how to swim.
Wait, what? I don't understand that.
It doesn't make sense. I know.
You just got to kick your feet.
I can swim very slowly.
That's all we're talking about.
Because I can kick. If you're swimming beside me, you're going to get really wet. Because you're just going to hear a bunch of... Because my legs are kicking like a mother. And so I can relate. Because not everybody knows how to swim.
Right,
it's
but
okay.
He's a f***ing duck. Have you ever heard the phrase, he took to it like a duck to water?
Or
water off a duck's back.
Well, I think they said that in the movie. So... Yeah. I think that was
the black woman said
it was a commentary on the movie, on the fact that he was a duck.
That being said, I don't know how to swing off of a tree. Like, I can't jump from tree to tree and eat bananas. I can eat bananas. I can figure that out.
I feel like, what the hell are you talking about?
I'm just saying, if the theory holds true that evolutionarily speaking, Howard the Duck is from a regular mallard, and evolutionarily speaking, I am from
and beat your chest like an ape? Because you probably can, because you're
know
a
what?
human.
I'm gonna have to
That's
say
not
that we can probably hear that what you just did. You probably didn't even have to say it. Because
Josh,
that was pretty loud.
that being said, Josh, I do have an uncontrollable urge to throw at you.
Like a monkey.
So, Ian, what was your least favorite part of the movie?
My least favorite part of the movie is that, okay, it's a crime. Like, it should be a legitimate crime against bad cinema. That's a word, that's a phrase you don't hear very often, a crime against bad cinema. That Leah Tompkins did not take off her top during that somewhat sexual scene. She was about to, and Howard said, "No, the bastard!"
That was horrible directing.
A podcast by men,
You know what?
for men.
And horrible
Welcome to
writing.
the darkest
It
timeline.
it would have earned a PG-13, but I don't think that would have hurt the movie.
It wouldn't
No, it
because
would
that
not.
wasn't the
Because
thing.
nothing could have hurt the movie because it was awful and no one saw it.
You know what? That deserved a Razzie. That deserved a
Lack
Razzie.
of Thompson boob.
Yeah, exactly.
How dare
I
you.
needed that.
Right.
I would like to make it very clear this is Ian talking about this, not Dylan.
I would like to make it very clear that Dylan's been talking this whole time,
That's
and Ian
not
has
true.
nothing to do with it.
But you know
My
what?
Everyone's
God.
making statements, but only Dylan doesn't have his pants on.
I would also like to say that
What?
wait, what?
Who else has worse? You? Did you say worse?
David,
yeah.
get off the couch and get to the microphone.
Josh.
I got a worst. My worst thing is a structural writing thing, in that Howard and Tim and Leia are coming into the nuclear laser place, and that guy comes out, the committed actor who's like, "We should not have." What's the quote? What's the quote about the universe?
It exploded again. It was terrible. We have no right to tamper with the universe.
Fantastic.
I
He's selling it. So and they're like, "Huh, okay." And they go in, and we see that scene. The next scene we see is Jeffrey Jones as Jennings show up outside of this facility, being questioned by police, and he's going in like, well, "You have to take a look at this." Okay, fine. Then later on, he appears out of nowhere with hair outraised, saying there was an explosion, suggesting that he had been there when the initial explosion happened that sucked the Dark Overlord of the universe down, and that is why the Dark Overlord possessed him. But he actually wasn't there at that point. Essentially, you have a plot hole that is so large that the main antagonist of the last half of the movie, because that happens about halfway point through the second act,
right
should not even be there. It should not have happened. That is a terrible, terrible writing mistake that I would say anyone over the age of 14 should see through.
Almost
And in
ruined
fact-
this movie.
And in fact, did for the most part. I know you probably
Guess
did.
what? I didn't see through it, but
Well-
most people that were watching this movie probably
Were-
were completely
People this
face.
movie were like 6 at this point.
I'm totally on board with what you were saying.
Okay.
I noticed that. I was like,
Wait, he
where
wasn't
were
there.
you?
He wasn't
Because he's
there.
showing up like in
That was the
in
worst.
some like random warehouse area later.
That was.
Are you talking about the scientists?
Yeah.
And see, here's the
Oh, yeah.
thing: is that Hayek and Katz blame the failure of the film largely on a lack of time, because they were given a green light in May of, I think it was 85, and
They
told-
released it in June.
it was supposed to come out for the summer of 86, but here's the problem. They didn't have a duck. They didn't have the animatronics. They didn't have that puppet. Okay, so they were like, we don't even have like the basics to build this. And Universal, who had passed on Star Wars and other projects by Spielberg, were like, got to buy Howard the Duck. This is Lucas the Wunderkind has for us. Let's buy it. And in fact, the head of Universal, a guy named Prince, was quote unquote fired afterwards because of the fault, because this movie cost about $36 million to
So
make.
he's the former head
Right.
of Universal, known as Prince.
Yeah. Oh, wow, snap. This movie cost
Singer.
roughly $36 million to make. It grossed worldwide, so that's domestic and international, $36,900,000. So it basically made a little over $900,000 of its
Probably not including
budget.
marketing.
Yeah, and when you factor in marketing, this is 1986. VHS, DVDs, they weren't a thing. You had to gross 3 times the amount. And this was Universal's summer tentpole movie. at this time, this is a bomb. This is a bomb, and that it's so bad. The Variety headline when Prince left said, then this is probably after Sticks, Nicks, Hicks, Picks, which is one of the famous Variety headlines. This one was Duck cooks Prince's goose. That's what they said when Prince, when I think Frank Prince was his name, when he got fired from Universal.
Wow.
Oh, that's pretty good.
It's a pretty good line, yeah.
So my least favorite part of this movie,
All right, we're still on that.
Yeah, sorry.
was
You invited me back. I got stuff like this. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Don't worry, it's not gonna happen again.
I
Yeah.
agree. I know. I'm never coming
You
back.
add at least a little bit of credence, though. Yeah, I actually look up stuff.
Yeah.
was the plot of the movie's flippant attitude towards following the plot of the movie.
Oh, wow.
Because
That is some existential.
a lot of this movie,
Whoa, did you just make this movie more in keeping with the source material than it originally was that we all saw?
Don't you dare let him finish.
no one is accusing me of lending any more credence to this film than it didn't earn itself. But there's a lot of the plot of this movie, like specific things happen in this movie that push the plot forward. And all of those things are undermined by bits. And specifically when I wrote this down, it was when they, what was his name? I can't remember. The scientist who was going through the transformation.
Oh,
Pedophile.
Jennings.
Jennings.
Pedophile.
Yeah, the pedophile, Jennings. He, when he was going through his transformation and saying all these things, and everyone was like, you're crazy. And then they go into a diner, and there's a huge bit at the diner before they finally actually
So long.
actually split ways and they're against each other.
Huge
like
bit.
Jennings even helps like save Howard at a point in the diner because the people want to cook him like a duck, but he's like a living, speaking thing.
He's a sentient being,
Yeah,
damn it.
And that whole scene just rubbed me the wrong way, and it made me realize how the entire movie was that way, where everything that propelled the plot forward was set back by their flippant attitude towards actually caring about the plot.
Yeah. Ditto.
But you know, in that one scene, I can understand them trying to cook him. I can kind of, which sadly,
Wait.
How?
What the man?
How can? No, I'm not saying I agree. I just said I can understand.
By the way, this scene takes place at a Cajun sushi diner in 1986.
And they would have
Like
one Asian dude.
in the middle of nowhere.
One
was-
Asian dude that
what-
they
it
threw in at the last minute. All of
Well-
a sudden, this Asian chef just showed up like, "Ha! I'm gonna cook this duck."
The name of the diner, though, was I think it was Joe Roma's
Joe Roma's,
Cajun Asian cuisine.
Cajun sushi.
Cajun sushi cuisine or some
Which sounds
like-
horrible.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awful looking. And apparently they have fights all the time.
And it's outside Cleveland, which means that there's no like saltwater fish coming to this place that's fresh.
Whoa. It was the California part of Cleveland. Clearly.
All right.
So,
do
how would you
fix it?
fix this movie, Dave?
I've been thinking about this the whole time.
Really? Have you?
Yeah,
I
because
haven't given it an
this
iota
would
of thought.
this would be this is a very hard movie to fix, and I don't think you can get this movie up to a decent, acceptable level. So the best thing I could do to fix this movie is riding off of what Dylan just said. The plot was ambiguous. They spent a lot of time building a world and not having conflict.
True. I
And
don't even know if they really built that world.
Yeah.
Almost
Wait,
our
what do
world.
you mean they didn't have conflict?
it's opening scene. He gets sucked out of space. He then spends the rest of the acts were a little blurry, especially between 1 and 2. But he spends the rest of Act 1 and early 2 trying to get a job, trying to fit in, going to concerts. There was nothing there that was pertinent to him getting back home. The conflict is he wants to go back home.
Right.
And they spend half the movie not even addressing that. And finally, at the end, he makes this courageous sacrifice to stay here in order to close the Hell Gate and keep the demons away or whatever. But there's just so much of this movie that's not about the conflict. So I would move I think you can fit in all the bits and you can fit in all the things you want to make the story work in a movie that propels the plot forward in a consistent manner. That's what I got.
You just want a consistent plot.
in every scene addressing trying to move forward or getting set back from accomplishing the goal.
You know, that's a lot to ask in the 80s.
I would argue this movie doesn't have an act structure. It's just two halves. There's before and after the pedophile gets a monster inside of him.
But once that happens, there is an act structure. Like once he has a monster and there's this definite antagonist,
structure, I guess.
The last half of the film is a film.
But the first half is just kind of
there is before Howard is taken to Earth, after Howard is taken to Earth, and then after the monster takes over the pedophile.
We apologize to
any pedophiles? Is that what you're trying to say? I don't apologize to pedophiles.
No, I don't feel like we should, but I don't know what to say about that. We should keep referring to Jeffrey Jones as the pedophile.
That's all I have to say about how I would fix this. Let's just move it forward.
Okay.
Who's next?
Okay, I'm going to say that, as I said before, I don't think the movie can really be fixed that much. I just have hope for the future. A future in which the current Marvel Studios takes the Howard the Duck they put in one very, 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 very small scene in the end of Guardians of the Galaxy into maybe not his own movie, but at least part of someone else's movie. And it's good. I hope for that day. Next person.
I would cut out the origin story. I like the original idea of just Howard as a PI. In the comics, he is a master of Quack Fu. Quack Fu is an actual martial art. He does fight alongside the Avengers and holds his own because he's actually a good martial artist.
Oh my god. And in this film, Quack Fu is such a joke.
It is. Yeah, it's terrible.
Awful.
But if you had if you had done a classic film noir, there are hints of it in this with some of the music. By the way, the original score, John Barry of James Bond fame did the original score, which they cut a lot of it out in order to give it to Sylvester Leon, known for such hits as Cobra, such great musical scores as Cobra and Mannequin. That guy.
Oh, that man is lauded in the film score
Did
community.
he also do Mannequin 2 on the Move?
I do not know. The one with Christy Swanson?
One and the same?
Yeah. No, but he's like, so as a PI story with Beverly, get Beverly in there. I like that idea. That's a good idea. And just start and just be like, yeah, I was brought here by a beam from outer space. It just randomly, I'm from another planet. Let's go. Done. That's really all the explanation they ever gave us in this movie. Why not keep doing that? Why not just go from there? And then you have a character-driven film. A character-driven about Howard the Duck being a PI, solving a mystery, working with this girl that he kind of is into, who might kind of be into him in a weird way. You know, that's interesting at least.
And if the movie decided to be self-aware of the fact that duck on human love is just a weird thing, that could be...
Wait. Duck on human love is a weird thing?
How dare you?
I don't need your judgment here, Dave.
We're all about inclusiveness,
All I'm
you
saying
racist.
I would agree with the idea that you could rekindle the humor of Howard the Duck by simply making a straight-laced noir with a duck is...
Yeah, totally.
I'm even seeing like black and white and really ramp it up like hard-boiled.
Yeah, it would totally work.
I agree with you. And the duck puns would be totally... We'd buy that.
It would totally work as that kind of movie.
It would be dumb, and I think the audiences of 1986 would not get it at all.
Don't know, yeah. It's on the same lines of Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. But the problem with Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid was that so much of it was scenes from other films instead of just doing a straight, like, Double Indemnity kind of homage.
Oh, I loved that movie.
Anyone else want to fix this?
Sure.
Such confidence.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it had good moments. It had...
You're lying to yourself.
Come on, not really. I mean, some of the lines were pretty good. Some of the stuff was like so absurd that it was kind of funny because it's like, oh, this is a stupid movie. But I would add more detective work because he's just like you said, he's a PI. Give him PI work. Let him detect.
Well, to be fair, in this movie, he wasn't a PI.
Not at all.
He really should have been, but he wasn't.
I mean, as the original,
that was their fault.
Not even in his backstory.
Yeah, he was just like a singer, and I worked at some jingle place or something. I don't know, some marketing place. It was just weird.
Yeah, terrible backstory.
Yeah, it was awful.
And my other thing, which is following up on Ian, as you said earlier, I think, if you're gonna show boobies, show them not duck boobies, but real boobies. Human boobies.
Are you saying duck boobies are less than human boobies?
Are you saying you were not aroused by this duck boobies?
I was not, because I didn't.
Yeah, good. I'm thankful.
I mean, I have
Look,
to like.
I've tried to milk my share of duck boobies in my life.
What? Okay.
No, is that not a thing?
Okay, nope. You're not allowed to talk anymore. Back
Alright,
to
man.
John.
If you guys could see Dylan's face, that was awesome. So, okay, let's wasted film time. Specifically, when they were talking to the scientist who wasn't really a scientist, that was just wasted to me. It went on too long. And I was like, okay, he's not a scientist. Move on. Because, what if you're this? What if you're that? Oh, no, I was just joking. And it's like, leave that shit alone, okay? That is boring. You're wasting time. Also, and more exploration of his home world, So I mean, it was interesting to see where he came from, but I mean, give me a little more, like why did he really not like where he was from? Because I mean, the only thing I got was he was sitting at home, and that was pretty much it. And all of a sudden, he sucked to earth, and I don't know. I mean, other than if they fixed that stuff, it would have been a better movie.
That would have been an interesting arc if he had started off just like, this is where I live now. And at some point in the film, he had gotten back to his home world and said, I'm actually more at home on this other planet, and I'm rejecting my home world. That would have been a character arc that would have made for a much better and more rich experience as a film.
Or you know what I was thinking?
For the first Marvel movie of all time.
When I was seeing this film, I said, if he likes this girl so much, this human, whatever, gorilla humanoid, ape humanoid, bring her back to the duck world with you. Let her take the blunt of being weird. Whatever. It's like you are.
Well, that's not very gentlemanly.
I don't care. If she wants to sit there and kiss a duck and touch on his duck nipples, it's like, well, if you're going to do all of that.
No. We don't know. We didn't ever see his duck nipples, so we don't know if she was touching them.
I don't think he did have duck nipples, actually.
We saw his
his plume.
His plume came up.
It arose because he was aroused.
His plume became erect.
Yes.
But, that's how I would fix it. I would fix that like that. Okay, next person. How would you fix it? Anybody else? That's it?
I think we're done.
Okay.
We're done.
What about me?
Go.
You don't get a turn.
Dylan, go for it.
I was basically going to do Josh's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine, because adding a layer to that, the logical conclusion of certain thematic themes of this movie, I would carry over into that one and have it be almost violently pornographic.
What the?
And that's it.
Not
What? That's it? That's all you? That's just violent pornography? No. Just what I just said. I didn't mean like it was violent pornography. Just violently pornographic. That's different.
Okay.
That's a different.
Wait,
so is this the movie you personally wanted to see? No.
He wanted to see porn.
No, I wouldn't watch that actually.
Okay,
that
guys,
is
you gotta
true.
give me a minute, okay? It was a dark and stormy night, sometime in November. Of all the gin joints in all the world, she had to walk into mine. She looked at me and said, "Someone's been cutting up my women, and I need you to figure out who."
Where is this going?
This is the plot.
This is very soft. I write the plot of my movie.
Oh,
This is
God.
very
I'm
serious.
interested in this because this sounds like Jonah Hex meets How to Die. Keep going.
No, we're done. We're way over.
Yeah.
So you'll just have to subscribe to my blog.
You don't have a blog. Do you have a blog?
Oh, wait.
You have
Dave's
no
fan
blog.
fiction. It's spicy.
And you know what that sound means, everyone. It's time for another episode of Absentee Presenter! That's right, it's the Darkest Timeline's obligatory game show that's never made sense and is never going to make sense. Hosted by the Dark Lord of Chaos himself, Brynloft the Destroyer. Let's give him a hand. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. This week's contestant is Brett. Back again, for real this time. Where is the bastard, anyway? They're patching him through now. Pardon, what now? He's still in the field hunting for David, so we had to call him, but you know how hard it is to nail someone down beyond dimensions and time. Ah, yeah, you're not tricking me into doing any maths. Just tell me when he's on. So, you sound better this week. Oh, yeah, I finally got over that cold. Oh, good. Isn't it your sister's birthday this weekend? Last weekend, actually. Right. You were invited. Oh, thank me. Are you there, Brett?
Yeah, Brinloft, it's good to be back on the show.
Great to have you. What the is all that noise?
War, Brinloft, war!
I sent you on a snatch and grab. Where'd you manage to fit a war in there?
Well, Dave cozied up with some interdimensional arms dealers in an effort to supply troops for an invasion of your realm. But you see, the arms dealers enslaved their dimension's people. Well, not people, more like humanoid slug monkeys. Anyways, I integrated into the populace and incited a political coup to eventually force Dave out of hiding. We're outgunned, but we've got the numbers and more heart than you believe.
Humanoid slug monkeys?
Yeah, they're disgusting mutants, but it's part of the job.
You baffle me, Brett. Your questions are on 1986's Howard the Duck. What was your favorite part?
Well, Brinloft, my favorite part would have to be just Tim Robbins in the movie. Overall, I just liked his character. He was very funny. I liked his outfits. I just thought his acting was above everybody else's in the movie. Honestly, I just feel like nobody else could really kind of come up to his speed. His character development was good. I'd say Jeffrey Jones's character development was pretty good, but really, Tim Robbins was the one for me. He was number one.
Well, I guess he was only nominated for a Razzie, so that does put him above most of the rest of the film. Hell, I'll give you 9 points for it.
All right, I can do this. I'm gonna win.
That is likely if you're keeping track.
Huh?
Nothing. Your second question. What did you feel was the worst part of this movie?
The worst part of this film, Brinloft, for sure, was all the shitty music in it. The end scene with the whole band playing, with the duck that came out and all of a sudden shreds guitar. I can't stand it. And they kept like building it up where they'd show him kind of tinker with a piano a couple times. I get it. He's a music writer. I don't know. I got into like a Mad Men thing there for a while, but then I'll go back to music someday. No, you won't, Duck. No, you won't. This is so stupid. And also, who is this movie for? Kids? Families? Teens? Adults? There's so many duck boobs, I don't know who it's for. And then, not only that, I don't understand. Why would you make a topless duck in a movie? And it's half human. It's like half duck human. And nobody cares that there's a talking duck around. It's like, wow, look at that thing. Like as if everybody just doesn't give a shit. It's weird. It's so weird to put that in a movie. Like someone should be like freaking out and like, I mean, they had a couple people kind of freak out, but not enough. Like in the bar scene, where there's that really good actor. I can't remember his name. He's the guy that beats up the duck first. He's got the mustache with like the brim hat on. I love that actor. He's really good. He's in a lot of Jim Jarmusch films. But he's just like, oh, look at that thing. That's weird looking. Like nothing about him being a full-blown duck, talking and walking. That's weird, wearing clothing.
Well, that was encompassing. Maybe a little too encompassing. Like the kind of answer that encircles all possibilities like a worshipper of Korriban would.
Who, wait, me?
No, I'm just being paranoid. You only got 3 points for that answer, by the way. Not original enough.
What? Come on, you think that's okay?
I don't know. Maybe you should start another mindless war to find out.
You...
Right. Your final question. How would you fix Howard the Duck?
How would I fix it, Brinloft? Just cut it up. Cut this bitch up. I mean, it is terrible. I think if you made it like a 15-minute short film, that's acceptable and probably a lot better. You take out all the womanizing things and the duck boobs and I don't know, all the music. Take out all the music in it. I guess what's her name from Back to the Future can stay. I like Tim Robbins, more Tim Robbins. Make the ducks' lines better, not so sarcastic and stupid. That's really all I got. I don't know. That's it. Tell George Lucas not to do so much cocaine. That would help. I don't know. That's it.
Remove the movie from the movie. That takes some balls, Brett. So I'm going to give you a point for every minute of your short film. Which is 15 in case you forgot.
Yes! I want some more!
Well, sorry, the game's over, but you did manage to score 27 points, which in the grand tradition of this show means the current contestant beat the previous one.
So I won?
Yeah.
Yeah! No, Slim! Die, you sons of bitches!
Everything okay there, Brett?
I'll tear you apart, you f***ing monsters!
Right, well, we don't have any context over here, Brett, so who's Slim and why are we supposed to care?
It's like if Matt Damon died instead of Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan? It should have been me! You should have been me!
Oh, that is sad. Well, carry on with your war, Brett, and do try to remember to drop David when it's all over. As for the rest of you, we hope you'll tune in next time that there's another episode of
Absentee Presenter!
Now, back to your regularly scheduled podcast.
We're now at the point of the podcast where we choose our next movie. We do this by all proclaiming which movie we want to see and then drawing cards. Whoever has the highest card wins. So, if I get the highest card, I would like to see Spirit of Vengeance with the Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance because I desperately want to see some more Nick Cage.
I'm gonna go with.
State your name and businessman.
If I win, will be choosing X-Men Origins Wolverine. Because we need to do our final Ryan Reynolds bad superhero movie.
He's good in that movie.
I know, he's the best part of that movie, quite
Until
honestly.
it becomes that thing.
The rest of the movie around it is awful.
Well, yeah. I guess. Do I get a pick?
You get a pick.
You get to pick.
You're
Okay.
here.
Thanks. If I win, I will be choosing the classic Supergirl, starring Helen Slater.
You know
You're
what?
talking about me?
With Faye Dunaway and
know what?
Peter O'Toole.
Guess what?
I forgot Peter O'Toole was in that.
Ben, our longtime listener and probably one of the only commenters we have, it has been asking for Dave to vote for Supergirl so long. So thank you, Josh, for voting for Supergirl.
Hi, Ben.
And
You
you,
friends now.
Dave.
Shout out to Ben who just moved to Tennessee. We hope you're doing all right in the new state. Congratulations, man.
I guess I'll pick the Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh, hey,
My
Josh.
taint just shriveled.
hey, Josh, you want to come next week?
No. Well, maybe. I have 2 kids. It's just my only chance to get away.
Everyone needs an outlet.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the one I've been going for the last few weeks. I would go with Barbed Wire
You've been going.
That's Casablanca with Pamela Anderson.
and other stuff.
No,
yeah.
it is, but the plot,
Yeah.
beat for beat, is essentially Casablanca.
Yeah. So at least it ripped off a good movie.
Yeah.
Is that everybody?
Yeah.
Havana.
Let's do
Let's
the
pick some
cards.
cards.
Oh wait, no, I got a Joker. I got to pick a different one. Why are those still in the deck, man?
Cheater.
They're not in the deck.
Make sure it's really a Joker.
This is a
Right.
new
Is
deck.
it the Joker from
It's a
Batman?
I got a Joker.
What, are you
Pick
serious?
again. What'd you
All
get?
right, I got a 3.
I got a queen.
5.
Douche.
I've got an 8.
Got a
So what is
8.
that?
We're watching X-Men Origins Wolverine
Why would
next
you
week.
do this to me?
How dare you?
Ryan Reynolds.
I'm
Ryan Reynolds
the
is
guest
not the problem with that
podcaster.
movie.
I will not be here next week.
Okay, well, in any case, go to DTLPodcast.com, and on there we got links to Google Play, iTunes, and Stitcher. And so subscribe on the ones of those that you can do that, rate the ones of those that you can rate on, and go to us on Facebook at DTL Podcast and Twitter at DTL Podcast, and we check hashtag DTL Podcast every so often. So send us a comment, and we really like to know what you think, because really, no one's done that. All right, cool stuff.
There's hope.
Yeah.
There's hope.
See you next week.